locked in a battle to the death. A battle that will take them across the heavens.
Stop him!
A battle that will finally be fought
I want them hunted down and brought to me!
across the face of Earth. From a distant galaxy, they have come to Earth. Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. Frank Langella as Skeletor. Only they have the powers to be Masters of the Universe. Live the adventure.
Welcome to a movie film commentary track. My name is Zaki Hassan, and Brian Hall, tell me about the loneliness of good. Is it equal to the loneliness of evil? I ask you that all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I ask you that all the time. Turns out it's a line in this movie. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's just something you've always wondered.
I just constantly.
Yeah. And I've never known which side you thought I was a part of, so.
Well, I'm asking you about the loneliness of good, right? So therefore.
Oh, okay.
By extension, right? We are kind of like the He-Man and Skeletor of the podcasting scene.
Sure.
Engaged in constant, lifelong battle. Neither complete without the other. I think it tracks.
Yeah. I like our duality and thinking that together we could unlock the secrets of Grayskull.
Right. I think that is our lot in life.
Yeah.
But, as we are recording this, we are in the lead up to the big budget new movie adaptation of Masters of the Universe, which is, I think, as we've discussed many a time on this show, was not a sentence we expected to say.
No, I mean, there's been starts and stops trying to make this movie ever since we began this podcast 14 years ago or whatever it was. So yeah, it's amazing. Like, I think you and I even said until we're seated and the movie was like unspooling in front of us, we wouldn't believe it. But
like the premiere has already happened.
Yeah.
But even still, I won't believe it till I am walking out of the theater.
Hey, if it was a Warner Brothers movie, they could still delete it.
That's right. It's just one hard drive away from never seeing the light of day.
Yep.
But hey, we thought this is a perfect opportunity to dip into the archives to almost 40 years ago and watch and talk through the only previous live action Masters of the Universe movie, 1987's Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, which we've talked about for a long time, and I think it's kind of amazing that we get to do it to celebrate the release of this new movie, which I'm really looking forward to.
It's true. This is a movie, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you did not see it as a kid.
I have seen it in my life.
Yeah.
As I was watching it, I thought, I'm not sure I've ever seen this all the way through. This is a movie that would be on a Saturday afternoon on WGN Channel 9 kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm certain I've seen chunks of this several times. But yeah, this might be the first time all the way through.
Oh, well, there you go. For me, I was 7 going on 8.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in the theater when it came out. I was in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like this is a canon event for me.
Totally. I can imagine.
Not to say I think it's good necessarily, but boy, do I have a lot of affection for it.
Yeah. Well, you and I both grew up with the He-Man cartoon. That I was obsessed with. And I had the action figures and yeah.
And this came out just in time to not capitalize on any of that.
I know.
But we'll talk about that as we watch the movie.
Yeah.
So, hey, if you want to watch along with us, this is the 1987 Masters of the Universe, the one starring Dolph Lundgren and, of course, Frank Langella. If you want to have that experience of watching along with us, you certainly can do that. However, the best way to do that, Brian, would be by subscribing to our Patreon feed.
Yes. If you head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast, over there you'll find a special feed where it has all our episodes, all our commentaries, absolutely ad-free. So you have no ads or interruptions butting in to the conversation, which is most important when we're doing a commentary and you're trying to follow along with a movie.
And if you just want to hear us talking, we'll try to keep the conversation interesting enough, but we're going to go ahead and do our thing right now. So we'll do the usual. We'll start on 3, 1, 2, 3, and play. You ready, Brian?
I'm ready.
And here we go. 1, 2, 3, play. Canon Pictures.
Yeah, I mean, that could be its own feature-length track talking about that, right?
I have to say, this was basically my first time seeing a canon movie. So I see that logo for the first time in theater. I'm like, wow, these guys must be the ones who make the great movies.
Right.
And I will say I wasn't necessarily wrong in that their movies are great in a certain manner of speaking.
Sure.
They represent a very specific era.
Yeah, and type of film. A moment, if you will, in film history.
Moment.
Yeah.
This one, despite being a canon picture, has a conspicuous absence of ninjas and or Sylvester Stallone. So that's kind of or Chuck Norris.
Beautiful painting here, by the way.
There is a lot of great practical effects work and matte painting work in this movie that I think has helped some of these effect sequences stand the test of time more than I would have expected.
I agree. I mean, this is obviously a low budget film.
Yeah.
But working within their constraints, I think it's like pretty, enjoyable and admirable even, what they do get away with here. I mean, even just like this is at the ending, but when they're having that battle by the corner of the building, at the end, and then it gets teleported into Eternia and you see just the corner of the building.
Right.
In the throne room. I was like, that's fun. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's clever. And it doesn't need to be big, but it sells the spectacle of the story in a really practical way.
Yeah. I mean, this movie, when we talk about canon, it came out within weeks of Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, which is obviously a famous catastrophe. This one was too, by the way. They lost their shirts. They took big bets on both Superman 4 and this, and it basically helped bring down the studio.
Right. And they had big plans
That's
had
right.
these succeeded, right, for a Spider-Man movie.
That's right. And shot back to back with a sequel to this. That would have been the plan.
Yeah, and they were going to share sets apparently and costumes and
the director Albert Pion. Yeah, but I think weirdly, despite the fact that this came out, in proximity with Superman 4, this one, in terms of the visual effects, holds up better than Superman 4.
Yeah.
But I want to be very clear. I mean, it looks like they had about $8 to rub together. And other than the set we're in right now, which is the Grayskull set, which is quite impressive.
Yeah.
One of the biggest sets ever built up to that point, actually.
Yeah, right? Like it was like 2 stages together, right? Didn't they like smash a wall down?
That's right.
Extend a stage, yeah.
Yeah, so very impressive. But what you realize is it's basically this and that's it. They blew a big chunk of their budget on
and like a street in Whittier, California.
they had no money for extras
yeah, right.
This ghost town that our heroes end up in. Now Frank Langella. So when I watched this movie, I don't believe I had seen Rocky IV yet, but I knew Dolph Lundgren from that. Like I had seen images of him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay. I did not know Frank Langella for sure.
No.
But
same.
I remember the trailers and the TV spots were like, Frank Langella is Skeletor. I was like, oh, wow. He must be a big deal if he is
Right.
And I will say, Frank Langella does a this is comparable to Raul Julia in Street Fighter.
Hey, I had the same thought. Yeah,
my man showed up.
Yep.
He is so fun to watch in this movie. He has these great. Apparently, he rewrote big chunks of his dialogue. He gave himself big monologue. I believe all of that.
You see, I watched that documentary. What was it? By the Power of Grayskull.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah.
The He-Man, story
about the whole franchise.
Yeah, it's like a 90-minute documentary, and he's interviewed in it. And he talks about that, where his son was a fan of He-Man the cartoon. He was offered the movie, and he's like, sure, yeah, I'll do this. Like, my son will really enjoy this. And what I love is it wasn't like, all right, just tell me where to sit. I'll just twirl my mustache and call it a day. Where's the catering table? Like, he dug into the script and was like, no, let's try this. Like, this might be better. Like, he really invested in this, and to this day talks about it being one of his favorite roles he's ever played.
I would imagine that Frank Langella has spent much of the last 40 years encountering people who are like, I love to do a Skeletor,
Mm-hmm.
Like, talk about a role that lives on with a very specific demographic, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, it's funny because a year ago, you and I we talked through Superman Returns, which also features Frank Langella, and he could not have appeared more bored.
Right.
Right. So we sort of have the poles of Langella.
Right. The poles of Langella. That sounds like a made-up mystical world, a fantasy novel or something.
Like a sci-fi novel.
Load up the boats. We need to head to the poles of Langella.
You picture like a Frank Frazetta painted cover of some barbarian or something, right?
Exactly.
So now here is Eternia, aka the Vasquez Rocks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, this is like 20 minutes from my place.
They had a lot of big ideas about shooting somewhere, in Arizona or Montana or something. They ended up, nope, let's just do the Vasquez Rocks.
Yeah. Which, by the way, look great. I mean, they're very cinematic, and they're used in a lot of productions. Like, they're very recognizable.
Very familiar. Yeah. So Dolph Lundgren, he came with the package, basically, by the time Gary Goddard signed on. He had one major credit, which was Rocky IV.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think some of his inexperience shines through. A lot of his inexperience shines through.
Yeah. And it wasn't there conditions about dubbing him?
Yeah. So, well, apparently, so it was in his contract that if he was going to be dubbed, he was going to be allowed to go do it 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Try it himself first before hiring another voice actor.
He would do his own looping before it would move. They would bring somebody else in. Gary Goddard wanted somebody else. Canon did not.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mattel probably wanted somebody else too. And so essentially, by virtue of giving him 3 tries, that allowed him to keep the job. And I think this is weird, right? Because I don't think his English is terrible in the movie. This is not like early Schwarzenegger sounding.
Right.
Like in terms of his ability to speak and enunciate and stuff, I think it's fine. It's just he's not an experienced actor.
Mm-hmm.
And so there isn't a lot of emoting going on. And so there's like zero internality for He-Man in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange. He's almost a side character in his own movie.
He is a secondary. Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah.
And do you think that is because of Dolph Lundgren trying to mask him a little bit? Or, I was just thinking about, it's strange that He-Man doesn't make a very big impact as a character in his own movie.
Right.
And people react to him in ways that don't quite make sense. Like Courtney Cox bonds with him immediately and is like, I'll miss you more than I've ever missed anyone before. And I'm like, man, I don't remember them ever connecting really. And but you can imagine
time and
but I was thinking, this is obvious, but you can imagine someone like Chris Hemsworth in that role.
Mm-hmm.
And just the inherent charm that he brings before he even speaks. That would just make the character feel a little bit more lived in and robust, and why people respond to him the way that they do. And unfortunately with Lundgren, I don't get that sense, and you just have to roll with it.
Yeah, and certainly in the years since, the decades since, I think he has gotten better as an actor.
Yeah.
Right? So kudos to him. I mean, he was in his 27, 28 when he made this. And he was basically signed on because he had a blonde hair and a physique.
Muscles.
Yeah. He fit the bill,
Yeah.
Gary Goddard said as much, that the part of the reason he wanted somebody with the presence of Frank Langella was to sort of give ballast.
Yeah.
And sort of ends up being the eyes of the story, like who we experienced the story through,
mm-hmm.
Which I think is somewhat true.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years back, I mentioned a movie called Biggles. Do you remember this?
No, remind me.
It's about, so there's a series of books about a World War I pilot named Biggles.
Okay.
And it's just his adventures. That's the series of books. And they made a movie in the 80s where they have an ad exec in the 1980s who is hit by a lightning and ends up back in time and meeting Biggles.
Okay.
And he keeps going back and forth and encountering Biggles. And I remember seeing that as a kid and being like, well, I don't care about this guy, our main character is back there, you know?
Yeah.
And so this does a little bit of the Biggles thing.
Yeah.
Where, you know, we have these human characters who we sort of experience the story through, which is odd, but somewhat understandable given the time where, you know, the budget and effects technology wasn't there to fully depict the world of He-Man as we know it, or as we knew it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, when you think about it, I mean, this movie just drops us into the world.
Yeah.
Right. And
you just get a narration at the beginning really quickly trying to set up.
And it's very boilerplate, right?
Yeah.
And I think that says something about how much He-Man and this mythos sort of existed in the ether at that time, where it was just known.
Yeah.
He-Man, Skeletor, everybody kind of got it, even though it was waning by the time this movie came out. This is the thing. I don't think it's possible to even summarize what a big freaking deal Masters of the Universe was at its peak.
Yeah.
And so that's when this movie arrived. I just think it came too late to capitalize on it, right? I mean, it's like if the first Ninja Turtles movie came out in like 94.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They just would have missed the window.
Right.
You know?
Man, they really did get on that.
I mean, right away, right? I think they learned from this.
Yeah. But, you know, it's interesting thinking of Superman 4 and this movie coming out so close together. And in the public's imagination, that's what superhero movies are.
That's right.
Right? Like these sort of cheap, you know, ramshackle movies that kids like and adults tolerate when they have to drag them there on a Saturday afternoon. And only 2 years later, you would get Tim Burton's Batman.
It just resets the compass.
Forever.
Yep.
Like, or at least to this day, right? And then all of a sudden, they're for everyone, right?
That's
and they're taken more seriously, and they have bigger budgets, and they have more scope, and they're more sophisticated. It's crazy, like, to imagine. Like, we're just living in that universe now, and it's just, watching this reminded me that, like, oh, this is what people thought superhero movies were for a while. And now it's something where, like, everyone checks them out. They're taken seriously. They're the highest grossing movies of the year. You know, my parents watched them. You know, it's Batman 89 really did change everything.
So two points here. First of all, Christina Pickles, who plays the sorceress, just 7 years later, she would play Monica's mom on Friends.
Yeah, right.
Little could she have known, right?
Isn't that funny? Both of them, right? Like
their lives were intertwined from this moment.
Yeah.
The other thing is you think John Cypher, who plays Man-at-Arms, felt embarrassed wearing a helmet that looks like you could buy it at the toy aisle at like a Costco, at an Osco, a Jewel Osco, you know?
Right.
Doesn't it look like that? Like
it definitely does, yeah. Which, speaking of costumes and everything, I mean, this Skeletor face design,
that's great,
is amazing, because it does look like a skull, but it doesn't look. It looks like its own thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And it allows Langella to emote.
That's right.
You know, like we get a real clear look at his eyes. And he's able to have some physicality in his face with it. Like, it's just a perfect design.
Yeah, so the makeup design for this film was by Michael Westmore, who would go on to become the guy for Star Trek from 1987 to 2005. So, you know, when you look at Worf and Data and the Borg and all those, that's all Michael Westmore.
Right.
And you see that in the Skeletor face here. If I'm not mistaken, this Skeletor mask ended up in a Next Generation episode in some holodeck scene. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, why not? It looks great. I mean, this set looks great too. You know, I think it's
pretty sweet.
I think so.
See, I think, as I said before, right? If you just look at this set, you're like, man, look at the scale for this movie, right? But like I said, once we move past Eternia, you're like, oh, they spent all their money on Grayskull. Right. You know. I wanted to mention, by the way, Meg Foster, who plays Evil-Lyn.
Yeah.
I mean, just these amazing eyes, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And when you read about it, you're like, yeah, that's why she got the part. is because she's got these amazing eyes.
I mean, for people who can't see them, I mean, they're just this really interesting and unique, like icy blue gray.
I've never seen eyes that color
ever, other than her. I mean, it's it looks like she's wearing special contacts or something.
That's right.
But that was her actual eye color.
That's just her.
And she's I was gonna say she's in They Live also, is what I know her.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were talking about Sarah Douglas, who played Ursa in the Superman films, playing Evil-Lyn.
I can see it.
And I was about to say, I can absolutely see that, but I'm sure she was like, can I not make a career out of standing next to a guy who keeps wanting people to kneel in front of him?
You're right.
But Meg Foster is great. I love her as Evil-Lyn.
Yeah, she doesn't have a ton to do, but speaking, the opposite of what I was saying about Dolph Lundgren, she brings so much in her stares and her smirks and the way she postures her body. Like, she's bringing a lot and making that character very memorable. I love it. I think these 80s effects look cool. They fit within this film.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
even down to just real quick, the sorceress.
Yeah.
Just that really subtle effect of having a light overhead, making her look illuminated and trapped in that light like that. That's easy. Anyone could do that. But like, it's imaginative, and it feels otherworldly and like she's trapped in a beam of light. And I just feel like you don't need something like to animate all these other extra things going around her. Like, that is enough, and it looks really cool, and I think is a smart use of their budget.
That's really true. I think that by working within their limitations, you become less obvious of where those limitations are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that certainly for me, seeing this as a kid, I didn't grok that this was a very low budget movie.
Yeah, right.
And I again, now it's very clear. Like I said, Man-at-Arms wearing that Jewel Osco helmet. To me, that just sticks out.
It does look like army helmet.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like,
That's, I was like, does he feel embarrassed wearing that?
Yeah.
It is amusing to me how much of this film is spent on Gwildor doing something and the other characters being like, oh, Gwildor. It's a lot.
I know. Which he is totally fine. I guess he's
Timu Orko.
I was going to say, right? Because that character was too difficult for them to realize within their budget, I guess.
Yeah. So you two glaring omissions are Orko and Battle Cat.
Yeah. Right.
Which I suppose we should be grateful they didn't try to put either of them in.
Yeah. Like these stock images of a tiger that they painted green.
Right. Exactly. I don't even know what that would look like.
Yeah. But I gotta say, Gwildor does. I mean, the performance is really good. I'm not sure I'm crazy about the design. Like, it sort of looks like a toy that's been partially melted in the sun. You know what I mean? Versus like a real distinct, definitive design of like a character.
Well, there's a bit later where he's like guzzling down barbecue sauce or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just picturing what the actor must have been going through.
Yeah.
With just gunk all over his suit,
I do think about that a lot when you see suits like this and they have hair and sort of fine parts to it. And when they do dunk it in a river or they pour barbecue sauce all over the beard, I'm like, yeah, maybe it's funny in the movie, but like, was that a pain in the butt to reset and clean up or whatever, dry clean? I don't know. But Billy Barty playing Gwildor, who I think of as the cameraman from UHF. I mean, he's in a lot of things, but that's
wow. I forgot he's in UHF. See, I know him from this, and the year after this, he was in Willow.
Right.
Which that's the other thing, because Willow, of course, stars Warwick Davis, who was the Leprechaun, which starred Jennifer Aniston.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder, like, does Courtney Cox think of this movie in her filmography the way Jennifer Aniston probably thinks of Leprechaun?
You know what's funny? I was a little dismayed. I saw an interview with Sarah Jessica Parker, and she was being interviewed about I think it was called Random Roles. And they asked her about Flight of the Navigator. Like, do you have any memories from working on that when you were younger? And she was like, no, I don't remember that at all. Why would you even ask me that? Like paraphrasing, but she had like kind of a weird attitude about it. And so it's interesting. Some people want to distance themselves from those things. And you wonder if for Courtney Cox, I don't know, but maybe it's like, hey, yeah, that was exciting. It was one of my first roles. The only thing she'd done before that was the Bruce Springsteen music video where she's dancing on stage. And
no, that's not true. She had been in a television show called Misfits of Science.
Oh, okay. Well, I meant films, but yeah. Misfits of Science.
Yeah, which is, I only know this, and that was probably like 84, 85, and it starred Dean Paul Martin, who's the son of Dean Martin.
Okay.
And it starred the guy who played the Predator.
Okay.
I forget his name.
Tall.
Yeah, the tall guy.
Yeah.
And Max Wright.
Okay.
Right. And basically it was like X-Men, but for, network television.
Interesting. Okay.
And I it was a fun show. It lasted like 13 episodes, but I only know it because I saw this in summer of 87, and Courtney Cox is very distinctive. Speaking of distinctive eyes, right? Her eyes stay with me, and I knew her name. And then I came, that was in Edmonton, came back to Saudi Arabia, and wouldn't you know, they were showing Misfits of Science on TV. I'd never seen it before.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
And so summer of 87 was when I first saw Alf and this.
Oh,
so I knew both Max Wright and Courtney Cox because of this, and
that is amazing.
Kevin Peter Hall, that's the Predator actor's name.
Okay, right.
Yeah, he passed away shortly. Gosh, I think after the second movie, he passed away.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you know about that, right? He was in like a car accident, I believe, and he was given HIV infected blood.
Oh my gosh! Maybe
really
we talked
sad.
about this, but I didn't remember that. Wow, that is sad.
Yeah. Robert Duncan McNeil, he just actually right around the same time Courtney Cox was on Friends, he would star on Star Trek Voyager, and he did all right there. He's now a TV director. He does pretty well for himself.
Oh, that's great.
Now, I have to say, both of these actors do a good job with what they're given in this movie.
I completely agree. They're fun.
Yeah. I think, we were talking about like whether, Jennifer Aniston probably looks back with embarrassment at Leprechaun. And I'm like, well, Courtney Cox, she gets actually a full range of emotion to portray in this film.
Sure. Yeah.
Nothing to be embarrassed about, I don't think,
Yeah. She does do kind of an old school move. I feel like we don't see much anymore, which is the like standing and screaming and gripping your hair and face thing. I think she gets like a couple of those, but like...
Hey, if the ghost of your mom turns into Evil-Lyn, that's what you do too.
Right. Which, by the way, going back a little bit, you were talking about Dolph Lundgren possibly having to have his role or his performance dubbed over by another actor.
Yeah.
When was the last time something like that has happened? Like a major character in a film? I mean, I think of Schwarzenegger in the Hercules movies,
right,
and like older films, but is that something that's happened in recent memory?
Not recent, but I mean, this is not too. See, look at that! Look at the barbecue sauce on his chin and stuff. So gross.
I know.
In Flash Gordon, 1980, so not too long before this, Sam J. Jones, who plays Flash Gordon, his voice was dubbed. It's a completely dubbed performance.
Oh wow.
And then in, I believe it was 1983 or 4, there was a movie called Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan.
Right.
Which, that has Christophe Lambert as Tarzan. His voice is not dubbed. However, Jane is played by Andie MacDowell, and her voice is dubbed by Glenn Close.
I did know that.
Yeah.
Okay,
wait, I want to talk about this scene real quick.
Yeah.
So we're establishing that people on Eternia are vegetarian, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Man-at-Arms is like fully on board. He's like, oh yeah, he knows exactly what to do. He's like, oh, it's a rib bone, and he's having a grand old time. So I'm like, well, what is the meal structure on Eternia then?
Well, maybe
I spent a lot of time thinking about this.
You know what I mean? Maybe he traveled. He's well traveled, or he was in the military at some point, and they spent time in other worlds, and he knows other cultures that Eternia isn't familiar with. I don't know.
See, the way Teela is like, how could you eat animals? What, like it's barbaric.
Mm-hmm.
But Man-at-Arms isn't like, well, you got to do it.
Right.
He's like, oh, like, so in other words, he loves the taste of flesh is what I'm saying.
Which is hilarious because I'm thinking like, oh, that sounds so horrifying. But I'm like, wait, no, so do I. That is funny though. Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time, like maybe too much time thinking about that again.
Right.
Like in the cartoon show, they're having banquets and they're eating like chicken and stuff. There's plenty of drumsticks I've seen.
Right.
In the cartoon. So, this is clearly meant to be doing something different.
Yeah. Like it's showing them as fish out of water, like where they don't know what a cow is.
Yeah.
And yeah. Just looking at this shot in the cemetery and kind of how beautiful it is. I was going to remark earlier, with the limitations we're talking about that this film's working with, I do feel like there's something to be said about the filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Like some good camera work, being shot on film, which just gives a cinematic sheen to everything. I feel like a lot of those things, the fact that it's lit well,
right,
go a long way in helping to sell whatever they have to work with here also. So credit to that.
Now you have many a time commented at how one of your favorite places in movies is the fantasy outside your window.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So does this tickle your fancy there?
100%. I even thought about it where you have, this futuristic, army of like robot soldiers and these floating vehicles marching down a suburban downtown street. Like that is just chef's kiss for me. Absolutely.
Would have been nice to see at least a few people on said streets.
Yeah, dropping their shopping bags and being like, oh, and running away. Absolutely.
No, we needed one guy being like, well, that's not something you see every day.
Right. That's hilarious. Wait, so when you were a kid then, and you were a huge fan of the cartoon, and then you're getting to see the movie, were you disappointed that it didn't, the locations didn't resemble what you were used to from the cartoon?
See, this is what's so interesting is that, so yes, I was, dare I say, I was probably a He-Man fan longer than you by like a year or so, because I got in before the cartoon.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, even since, like, you've seen all the other ones, and absolutely, I look to you as the Masters of the Universe expert.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. Like, so that first batch of figures, I got them. I didn't even need the cartoon to get me in. I was like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I had He-Man, Skeletor, Merman, Man-at-Arms, Beast-Man. Like, this is the first wave, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the cartoon started a year or so later. And I remember seeing the cartoon and being like, I didn't think, like, this toy that I play with is a thing on my TV now. Like, I'd never seen that before,
Yeah.
But bear in mind, I during the 80s, what I was used to was this thing that you play with or that you read in a comic or whatever never like this when you see it on the TV.
Mm.
So yes, there is the Incredible Hulk, but his name is David Banner and his origin is totally different and he doesn't talk. And I was just like, well, that's just how it is.
Right.
Right. Oh, here's Spider-Man on TV, but there's no Uncle Ben and he doesn't swing a lot. And that's just how it is.
Right.
I mean, it's, so when I saw this, I was literally, I was 7.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
right.
It's really weird. I was like, oh, well, He-Man doesn't have the furry underwear and and he's got a cape for some reason. And that's just how it is,
Hard lessons at a young age.
It really, like, and it wasn't even like me being upset. I was like,
no, yeah.
How else would it be,
Yeah.
I
love it. Yeah.
And so I was just like, well, this is like here, like right here, we have Skeletor's Goon Squad, which is composed of who? Huh? And Beastman.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And it's like, well, I'm just glad we got Beastman, I guess.
That kind of reminds me, for me, with the Ninja Turtles movie.
Right.
And you're like, and now let's spend some time with Danny.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I mean, really.
who's Danny?
Like seriously, right? Like when that's actually a great example. Like when Ninja Turtles 1 came out, I don't know about you, but I was like not even expecting the Technodrome or Krang.
Right.
I was like, of course you're not going to get that, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, the fact that like I guess it's like 10 years old now, right? They did the sequel, Out of the Shadows, the sequel to the Michael Bay one.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And we got the Technodrome and Krang in the big suit and whatever. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, right.
Because we've never seen that before. So I was just like, well, this is just what it is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was fine with it. I think I was more disappointed that we never got at that time He-Man and Skeletor toys that looked like the He-Man and Skeletor in this movie.
Yeah, I was reading about that. Apparently, they did make a couple toys.
They did.
Based on the side characters, but not the movie versions of the main characters.
That's right. So they had Gwildor, Blade, and Saurod.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember those toys because they had the Masters of the Universe packaging, but they had like film strip images.
I kind of remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess what I've read is that there was some kind of a rights issue where they didn't make the right deal with William Stout, who's the production designer, to include toys.
Yeah.
Which seems like kind of a major foul up if it's a toy based, you know, thing,
yeah.
you know. But I remember like a year or so after this movie. I mean, this movie came out as Masters of the Universe was breathing its last, right?
Mm-hmm.
So about a year or so later, you had like I want to say it was like Laser He-Man, who had like the mullet, like Dolph Lundgren and a cape, and he looks close-ish to the He-Man in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the closest they got. But by then, I mean, the misfortune about the timing is that there's like a variety of factors, but this one came out right as the toy line was dying out, and I think Mattel and Canon were both hoping it would reverse their respective fortunes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't happen, so it ends up being sort of the one of the last nails. And then, like a year later, the Ninja Turtles show up, and that's it. Then,
yep,
right.
And amazing that they have never really gone away.
That's interesting. Other than there was probably like a 5-year spell, I would say from like 97 to 02.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a right because you had the original show, which went from like 87 to 97 or thereabouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point there was that live action show. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't
when they had
long.
the female turtle.
That's right. Venus de Milo.
Venus. Yep.
Yeah, and then but it basically went away, and then I think in 02 they had that new series.
Yeah. Over on Nickelodeon?
No, before the Nickelodeon. There was Nickelodeon had the CG animated one.
Okay.
But before that there was like it was before Nickelodeon bought the Turtles. Anyway, my point, you're right. There was like this brief lull, which is similar to what the Transformers had earlier in the 90s. And that's why from the 80s you got Transformers and Turtles. Those are the only ones that have like consistently lasted.
That's really interesting.
Like He-Man, if not for He-Man, you don't get G.I. Joe, you don't get Transformers, you don't get Turtles. Because He-Man wrote the playbook.
Right.
You have a toy line, you come up with the animated thing, and then blah, 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 blah. This fight scene that's coming up here, by the way, I really like it. It's shot well. You got these great kind of, the red and the red and the green lights.
That's what I'm saying, right? I mean, if this was shot for $20, it sure doesn't look like it. You know, I mean, because it's executed well.
Well, I think what helps is that the people making it weren't looking down on it.
Mm-hmm.
They were, and it's not like they were coming at it as fans necessarily, because they weren't. It's not like they grew up with it. It's not like Travis Knight making this new one, right?
Right.
Who's like part of the He-Man generation. But Gary Goddard talked about how he got the gig because he had done the Conan stunt show for Universal.
Oh, interesting.
Right, and he was at the time he was developing Captain Power for Mattel.
Oh wow, okay.
Which that show started in fall of '87, so shortly after this movie came out. But he talked about how he was inspired by, Frank Frazetta paintings, and he's actually said the Fourth World characters from DC that Jack Kirby created, so like Darkseid and Orion and all, and you've seen Darkseid, right?
Mm-hmm.
like that's basically what Skeletor is doing. He talked about Doctor Doom, how Skeletor is like a Doctor Doom.
Totally.
Riff. You can very much see that. And so my point is like he was still trying to. He wasn't looking down on it, like for example, Richard Lester doing the Superman sequels.
Yeah.
Where it's clear that he was like, well, I can't take any of this seriously,
Yeah. He's winking a little bit.
Winking, exactly. I think this fight sequence is good.
Yeah.
It's interesting is that initially they had been Mattel basically had veto power over any decisions, right? So they're like, well, He-Man can't hurt anybody or kill anybody.
Sure.
And Goddard is like, well, Jesus Christ.
right.
What are we supposed to do,
Yeah.
And that's why they came up with the black stormtrooper guys.
Yeah, they're robots, I guess, right?
Yeah, they're robots. So and then everybody looks at it and they're like, "Oh, it's a Star Wars ripoff." And he's like, "I didn't want to put them in there."
Yeah. I mean, you do feel, intentional or not, a real Star Wars influence. For sure.
I mean that's the funny thing is that Star Wars is itself partly the origin of Masters of the Universe as a concept.
Sure,
because Lucasfilm went to Mattel first. And for the toys back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And Mattel was like, the hell is this?
Right.
Get out of here. Close the door behind you, they said, probably,
Right.
And then cut to 9 months later, they're like, huh.
Yeah.
So they were like chasing that dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they were literally like, why are we trying to license something that we hope will be the next Star Wars one? We just create our own thing and then roll the dice. And so that's what leads to Masters of the Universe and that's all in the documentary, I'm sure.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, which is very interesting. I definitely.
Oh, it's worth watching. Yeah. And so this is like 10 years later, and it's just weird, right? How it all intersects.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot disentangle Star Wars from the breadth of 80s pop culture.
Totally.
Everything is either trying to be it or trying not to be it.
Right. And this is only 4 years after Return of the Jedi.
I know. Yeah, there were commercials like certainly in the UK where it's like the Star Wars of the 80s. I'm like, well, we already had the Star Wars of the 80s.
Yeah, Star Wars is Star Wars of the 80s. Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, from that last battle, I was thinking this the other night watching this. Say what you will about special effects from the 70s or 80s. They, from the beginning, really nailed blaster fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It looks great in Star Wars. It looks great in this movie. Something about the way that it actually looks like it's in the environment and the speed that it's going from the gun to its target.
Yeah.
They've always been really good at that.
Well, and this is something you and I talked about just recently, but animated lightning.
Yes.
There's plenty of animated lightning in this movie, and I'm all about that.
Yeah, me too.
Now
this is a cool effect too, by the way. I mean, just this.
I agree.
Little fireworks display over the key, and by the way, like usually in a special effects shot like that in the 80s, the visual is a little degraded because they've had to optically put the effect on it and reprint the frame and all that stuff. But that was really clean, and I was really admiring that. And the shot earlier with Courtney Cox too, when they're using the key.
Well, this is something, Richard Edlund, who did the effects, he mastered the effects on 65.
Mm-hmm.
So they're high resolution.
Yeah.
And talk about forward thinking.
Yeah, it looks great.
Because you don't see a degradation whenever we switch to these effects shots.
Totally. And I also noticed, especially on the one with the guy and Courtney Cox, the light was dancing on their faces. So someone in the location thought to put some sort of little strobe effect on their face. So it looks like they're actually interacting with the effect, which is really smart. Okay,
so Julie has been a couple things here actually. Like, what are they doing at the gym where it's like a sound check where nobody's there?
Right.
And he's like, I'm gonna go do this thing. Now, bear in mind, Julie is leaving like tomorrow, right?
Yes.
So you're telling me bro can't wait like a day to have this synthesizer, quote unquote, looked at?
Right.
They has to leave his girlfriend there. But so she's being chased by these weirdos in various stages of undress. And then He-Man shows up and And he's like, trust me. And I'm like, well, why? I mean, he looks just like those other guys.
I was thinking that too. Like she's very like immediately like, sure. And then just kind of hugging him and feeling, protected by him. But I was like, if I saw anybody that looked like they'd stepped out of a science fiction story at this point, like, I'm running.
Like you see him standing next to Blade.
Yeah.
I don't know. They both look like they're on the same team if you don't know any better.
Yeah. But you roll with it.
we know what they're doing here.
Yeah.
So James Tolkien. Now this is a year after Top Gun and 2 years after Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
So my man's having a moment.
Yep.
And what I love is that he's playing this like hard as nails Brooklyn cop in like the most quiet town in America.
Yeah, like Southern California suburbs.
Do we even know that this is California?
Well, no, but I just
right.
Yeah.
They never say, right?
It is very funny though. Yeah. His accent and
what's funny to me is like I feel like this character Lubic, like he's got some kind of an arc that they just missed out on.
Yeah. You do get that sense throughout the whole movie that there's probably a lot more that they wanted to do, but they just couldn't budget it. So they whittled it down to what they absolutely could carry out.
See, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that they were probably very happy to get him because he was a pretty familiar face and he had been in some pretty big deal movies. I should say the first time I saw him was in this because I saw both Back to the Future and Top Gun after this. So to me, he's not Mr. Strickland. He's Lubic.
Oh, that's really funny. Well, and for him, I mean, he always plays like a certain type, right? I mean, and he's very memorable in Back to the Future.
He plays a James Tolkien type.
Yeah, but he probably has about a minute of screen time, right?
Yeah.
He just makes a big impact. But in this, as far as I have seen, this is his meatiest role.
He gets the most to do, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun watching him do his thing and actually play a character.
See,
not like a type.
What strikes me is they should have done like a Chief Brody thing where he's like afraid of aliens or something, and then now
he's going to live with them.
Exactly, right? Like that's they kind of allude to it a little bit where he's talking to these other cops and they're like, oh, not again, Lubic or something. Maybe he's like he's got this thing about aliens and
yeah, sort of like the Randy Quaid character in Independence Day. Like
exactly,
he had an experience that he can't explain and people are tired of hearing about it, but.
Because his ending in the movie makes like not even a little bit of sense.
No, he's been there. I mean, like I don't feel like there's we'll get there. But it makes me laugh. Like if you're riding this movie's wavelength,
It's really funny.
See, this is like there's not like a ton on the page necessarily, but this moment between Skeletor and Evil-Lyn, and just in her eyes, like how she really admires him but he treats her so badly, and
I know
her little arc, sort of silent, but her arc with him, sort of turning on him a bit.
Dude, she doesn't even wait to turn on him. That's also really funny.
But look at the way she's looking at him, and then she kind of like this. They're just bringing so much.
I agree with that. Well, and Meg Foster is interesting because like she talked about how the armor thing that they gave her was so uncomfortable that it sort of arched her back in a specific way, and yet like that really does add to there's like a regalness to her gait.
Totally,
yeah. So here I'm wondering why they killed off like the cooler looking mercenary guy.
Yeah. Sort of. He doesn't look like him necessarily, but sort of like a General Grievous type of character, like part robot, part organic. Kind of like what's
like a lizard guy.
Yeah, like what's that guy's deal? And then, I don't know why.
Just because I remember watching this in the theater and definitely going, oh,
yeah.
One of my clearest memories of seeing this in the theater. I was 7 going on 8, so my brother would have been 12 going on 13, and we were in Edmonton, and my uncle dropped us off at the movie theater and just left. Which I think about to this day. I'm like, I would never in a million years do that.
That's how it used to be, though. I mean,
that's just how it was, right?
Yeah, when we'd be like 7 or something. You'd drop us off at the theater to go watch The Land Before Time or something.
Exactly. And I would like, it's just so weird. I'm like, are we more paranoid now, or were we not paranoid enough then? I don't know.
I don't know.
But I remember a kid sitting in the row in front of me, and he must have been 5-ish, probably. He was younger for sure. And at one point in the movie, he goes, "He-Man is the bestest man." And I remember being like, "Oh, this young pup." I love his youthful enthusiasm, as I'm like 7.
right. That is hilarious. It's amazing you remember that to this day.
I was just talking about that with Amina. I was like, what a weird thing to have such a specific recollection of. But I remember that He-Man is the bestest man.
But yeah, the Evil-Lyn moment, I like where and then he just kind of shoves her and like, "You're going too." And she's like, "Well, I wasn't suggesting that
you should not have spoken."
Yeah, I like that. I like that dynamic between them. It's interesting.
I certainly love Langella's Skeletor voice. I'm glad they didn't try to do Alan Oppenheimer's, high pitched thing.
Oh,
from the Filmation show. I don't think that would have worked.
Yeah.
It is interesting as well that they didn't incorporate the Prince Adam thing. Like you'd think that would have been a good way to, like, when he's on Earth, have him blend in or something,
I mean, just there's so much going on in this movie, and even having to explain there's this other world, but they can come to Earth because of a key, and there's this castle that these two people are battling. Like, it's just maybe too many things going on.
Yeah.
To introduce the fact that he has a secret identity. And
yeah, it's a pretty terrible secret identity when you really think about it, because it's just, he takes his shirt off and suddenly nobody knows what happened to Adam.
Right. Yeah, I rewatched the pilot of the cartoon show because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. And just in preparation for this, and it was fun to go back and
what was the episode?
I mean, Skeletor wants to take over. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't even remember, but it's a lot of, the parents like, "Oh, there goes Prince Adam running away from danger again."
Yeah.
And then he becomes He-Man, and it's janky.
Yeah.
But I totally see why I liked it. It's fun.
Oh, absolutely.
The colors are fun. The characters are fun. Orko is fun. Like, I totally get why I loved it as a kid.
Well, and I mean, it was a phenomenon, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, this idea of a Monday through Friday series that was based on a toy that had not happened until Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
And, that, like, it's so funny because we look back at the 80s and at least for me, I know, between He-Man and Transformers and G.I. Joe, like, that's my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And now as an adult, I'm like, God damn, that's cynical.
These products.
Yeah. It's like just toy commercial after toy commercial. But as a kid, I'm like, it meant so much to me. So I have I have like such a bipolar relationship with this stuff.
I understand what you're saying, and you're not entirely wrong, probably, but it did engage with your imagination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it did involve you.
Right.
Which is kind of a special thing.
Well, that's the funny thing, because these shows all ended. This was He-Man and G.I. Joe, right? They would end with the lesson,
Yes. Yeah.
And, with He-Man, it would be like, in today's episode, Skeletor lied about what he was going to do, or you shouldn't lie, or whatever.
That's basically what the first one is. It's like, do things the right way. You don't need to lie. Yeah.
Dude, I love this, by the way. We just stay on this shot of James Tolkien going through the whole gamut of reactions.
Right.
I'm like, did you just not get a cutaway?
That's hilarious.
He's like, huh?
That's exactly it. By the way, I was laughing when he had the chicken. He's like eating this chicken. I was like, all right, what's this? Is this like an acting thing? Like, he just wants something to play with in his hands? And he's like, now I'm going to warm this up in the microwave, and then we can do what we need to do next. And I was like, what is happening? And then the fact that that's the interference for a moment where the bad guys can't track the key. I was like, I like that. It's just funny. The way that it plays out is just very funny.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
But yeah, it just occurred to me. I'd never really seen Tolkien like have a whole role that he gets to play with an arc. I haven't. I mean, there's probably other movies I haven't seen, but
yeah, he. I mean, you know, in Back to the Future, basically, what he's in like one scene, really.
I mean, yeah, the beginning, right, where he gives him the tardy slip,
and then we
whatever.
see, and then later when Marty is in the past.
Yeah, or
scenes.
in the hallway with the dad, and then breaking up the fight, and then putting his hands over his ears. And I mean, total, that's probably about a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, he played a type, and he did a good job embodying that.
Yeah. And I guess that's what's kind of funny about it is he's just always hard ass, you know, with a capital H. So here it's kind of funny seeing him act like a hard ass, but like you said, have these police officers not believe him about something. I'm like, oh, I've not seen him have to like defend himself before.
Right.
You know? But yeah, seeing these kinds of things bust down a house in the suburbs is like so cool.
But when Kevin sees the Beast Man, his first reaction is get out of here, get out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Which strikes me odd a little bit, right? Like I'd be like, what the hell?
What the hell?
That would be the thing, right?
Yeah. That's hilarious. I don't know what to say about that. That's you're right. You're right.
He's like, get out of here, get out of here. I'm like, that's odd.
Right.
I don't know about that.
That'd be funny if he threw the chicken at him. He's like, it's been heated up. Yeah, that's why he put it in the microwave.
Well, because earlier in the movie, Julie throws the ammonia at him.
Yeah,
and he's like, So it's just he's just susceptible to Earth, you know, products.
Yeah, right.
So we should say that Anthony DeLongis, who plays Blade, he's also the fight choreographer for this movie.
Yeah, and he does the sword play for Skeletor, right? At the end?
Yeah, at the end, right? But he's also got a great look as Blade. I think he's a cool character.
Yeah, totally. And he can act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is this something that might come into play later?
This looks pretty good too, by the way. This hologram.
Yeah.
I feel like she even... Yeah, no, go ahead.
No. I finish your thought.
No. Actually, go ahead.
Well, I'm just looking at the state of this house, and I'm like, this is Julie's house, and isn't she leaving like tomorrow?
Yeah, you're right. She's not done packing.
She hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
I'm just
Maybe
saying,
they'll be movers.
I suppose, but you'd think she'd be better equipped after her parents died suddenly in a plane crash to get on with her life.
Right. One would think, but it was the 80s.
You know, I think I have to give it up to that as well. That's a fairly dark plot element.
Yeah.
And you know, movies in the 80s that were ostensibly aimed at kids, they would do that. They would just have like parental death.
Yeah.
Just like layered in, and it was fine.
Well, and this character believes it's her fault.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's extra dark.
Yeah. Yeah, this stuff is cool. Like that crazy Star Wars looking ship on a front lawn.
But there is literally nobody in this town.
Yeah, right.
Like I mean, there's our two people. There's Charlie and Lubic.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Yeah. By the way, I think you mentioned earlier that the poster for this was done by Drew Struzan.
Drew Struzan.
Gorgeous.
It's a hell of a poster, man. It looks fantastic.
Dazzling poster. Yep.
Well,
that makes the movie look like $50 million.
I mean, I remember seeing that in theaters, you know?
Yep.
I remember when this movie was coming out, actually, because there used to be a magazine called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe magazine. It was just like a bi-monthly thing for kids about you know, He-Man, the toys and stuff. And there was an issue with the other theatrical poster for this, with Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. And I remember seeing that at a Jewel or whatever, and just being like, oh, it's just a guy dressed like He-Man. Like, I didn't realize it was a movie.
Oh, okay.
And my brother, who was, again, he was the arbiter of what is and isn't true. He had the wisdom of 5 years ahead of me. You know?
Yeah, right.
He's like, no, man, that's a movie. There's a movie coming out. I'm like, get out of here. I was like, you're Buzz Aldrin. Get out of here. I was like that. That's a Punky Brewster reference, kids.
That's
by the way,
funny.
look that up. And then, I saw the TV spots and stuff. And so for me, again, there was just something like, wow, I never thought there would be a He-Man movie kind of thing,
Yeah.
So
No,
I was
totally.
just tickled by its mere existence. And you see that Drew Struzan poster and you're like, man, they're doing it for real,
Same artist who was making the Star Wars posters.
Exactly, right? And the Indiana Jones 1 and 2 posters up to this point. But in addition to that, you have this Bill Conti score.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Conti is clearly doing like a very transparent Superman / Star Wars pastiche
Totally.
with his music. But it's freaking great, dude.
It works. Totally.
It's an impressively robust score for a movie like this.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did the Rocky score,
Karate Kid.
Yeah. By the way, I just texted you something. That's what I remember from when this movie came out. There used to be a Muppet magazine, and they would have can you see it?
Yes, I can. Oh,
So they would have a poster in each magazine, and for when this movie came out, they had a poster of Kermit dressed up as He-Man.
Dressed up as Dolph Lundgren's He-Man.
Yeah, and I remember as a kid,
mullet included.
I thought that was hysterical, and I've never forgotten it. And so
it's too funny.
Yeah. But yeah, somehow I missed it. I'm not sure. It's funny. You got the Gwildor thing where he's...
Oh, real quick, by the way. So right here where Lubic's like, the mountain came to Muhammad. I had never heard that phrase before.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, it's these guys show up and he said, well, it looks like the mountain came to Muhammad, right? And
Oh, that's funny.
I'd never heard that before. And
have you heard it since, or is that just like...
Well, I've heard it enough to know it's a thing, but I feel like if I were to say that, people would be like, I don't know what that means.
You're right. That's like when there's a bear poop in the woods or whatever that expression is. Like I heard it once in a movie and I thought it was just silly for the movie, and then I learned that was an actual expression. I was like, oh, okay. We all knew this? No, you got the Gwildor, I think this is kind of like the post-ET thing. Like, it's funny when you put these little creatures in like drag.
Yeah, and then he shows up and everybody goes, oh, Gwildor.
Oh, Gwildor. And it's funny, like, why did he do that? Like, if everything's urgent, was he just in a closet like, oh, this is fun? Put a boa around his neck and... Yeah.
As was the style at the time.
Yeah. I mean, it adds some fun comedy, but...
See, again, the absolute lack of any Earth life on this street is like hugely distracting to me now as an adult.
It would be nice if they could have hired just like 10 people to just sort of be on the sidewalks and then flee.
Just give it some life, for God's sake,
It might even make more impact that way if you saw that this was bustling, but they have now cleared
right
the street,
Now, I definitely remember at that moment where He-Man says, how are you feeling? And Man-at-Arms says, I'm feeling hungry or a little hungry. Mm-hmm. I remember laughing hysterically. I was slapping my knee. I was that Man-at-Arms. I didn't know hunger was his thing, but this movie has clarified that for me.
That is hilarious.
I do like John Cipher as Man-at-Arms in this. He's got the look,
He's got a real dad vibe.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe it's because it's kind of what my dad looked like in the 80s.
Oh, really?
With like the mustache and yeah. Well, at least you get this guy, right? The shop owner.
Yeah.
Someone who's not involved with the adventure, but gets to react to how crazy it is.
We just need him to say, well, that just happened.
Yeah, right.
That's all that's missing, really.
It's funny you talking about that hungry line making you laugh as a kid because it's unexpected. It's like irreverent, not something you would expect a character in a movie like this to say. And it's funny how that's become the humor now. Is the characters
so true.
Saying the irreverent thing. Like almost to the point where I can sense it coming and I'm sort of like, no, I'm really enjoying this moment. Don't break it.
Yeah, let's just play it straight.
Yeah. Let's enjoy this being an emotional moment. We don't have to like subvert it or undercut it.
that's kind of the trick, right? Like, how do you balance that, like, little incorporating humor in a way that doesn't undercut drama, and I feel like a lot of films these days have an issue with that, which is, with this film broadly, I appreciate that it stays consistent within its tone.
Yeah, it totally does.
Man, I think that helps,
Yeah.
I mean, the scene coming up in a little bit where Julie, she hands the cosmic key over to Evil-Lyn, right? And it's easy to watch that and be like, you stupid idiot. Why would you think that's your dead mom, right?
Yeah.
And I always look at that and I'm like, well, you have to look at it as like how a kid would perceive this.
Totally.
Right? Like, it doesn't have to make sense purely, but like on an emotional level, you can sort of understand where the character's coming from.
And maybe the execution's a little hokey or something, but I on the page or the concept, I love, actually. That's a really sad thing, right? For her desperately hoping that she is seeing her mother again, but she's really being tricked by the bad guy.
Right. Oh, so we haven't mentioned at all Chelsea Field, who plays Teela.
Yes.
I love her in this movie. She's great. I mean, I know she's done a whole bunch of stuff, but I kind of wish she had done more. I think she's great.
Yeah, I looked her up afterwards because I didn't really know who she was. And I agree. She's got like a fun energy. And like they have like, that's what I do like, even if it feels a little corny sometimes, is that she and He-Man and Man-at-Arms have a rapport.
Right.
Yeah. Like they do this stuff.
Some history.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, she's got this bit right here where she just kind of looks just past camera and goes, "Woman at arms," which is like so odd to me. Like I'm glad she gets that moment, but I'm like, are people like, what? Because I don't, what I mean? Like we don't hit that her dad is Man at Arms. We don't really underscore that.
Yeah, or like she's living in her dad's shadow or something.
Right,
Yeah. Although it was funny because I didn't remember that, and it kind of made me laugh. But you know me, I'm a sucker for people breaking the fourth wall. I love it. I don't know. It just always gets me, and it rarely makes me think you shouldn't have done that. I'm almost always like, I love that you did that. Like recently with Send Help with Rachel McAdams when she looks in the camera. I was like, I love it. It doesn't ruin the movie. It makes it better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Chelsea Field, worth mentioning, she is Mrs. Scott Bakula.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Yeah. It's funny. You mentioned that. We were texting about it yesterday, and I Googled one of them. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And it brought up like a video of the two of them recently talking about a play that they're going to be in together.
Oh, nice.
And they just look older and happy and sweet. And it just really warmed my heart seeing them together all these years later and just looking like a happy.
That's funny. I saw something similar. It was a video of Mark Harmon and Pam Dauber. Who?
Oh, okay.
I mean, they've been married since forever, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, they're just like this older couple now,
Yeah.
I mean, like Mark Harmon at this point is far removed from like the early days of NCIS even, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's like an old guy now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, oh yeah, it's been a while,
Yeah. It's nice.
See, I mean, this moment, again, look at it from a kid's perspective, right? What's the worst thing you can think of when you're a little kid, right?
Mm-hmm. Losing your parents.
Exactly, right? And so to have the possibility of them being back, I mean, it's like a nightmare,
Mm-hmm.
So you're not like, no, that's Evil-Lyn, I mean, you are like that probably, but
but imagine being 7, right? Well, you can.
Exactly.
But I like the actress too, by the way. She's doing a great job. She feels very motherly, but also the whole, where she's like betraying what's really underneath, like, go get that key for me. It's eerie.
Well, her explanation too, it's like, I'm sorry, we couldn't tell you. We were doing like secret government stuff.
Right.
You went with that.
That's really funny. Actually, though, as a kid, I'd be like, well, that makes sense.
That tracks.
My parents are spies, of course.
I mean, that's what they did with Peter Parker in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, right?
Actually, I was just thinking that. So, you know what it is? I think there's a little bit in the execution here, probably because they didn't have time for multiple takes or angles or whatever. But I think if you showed Courtney Cox's character go in that room and like eye the key and really think about it and mull over it and wrestle
Make
with it.
More of a moment.
Instead, she just kind of like in one big wide shot, she just kind of like goes in and takes it and walks out. And it feels a little like, what are you doing?
Well, the other thing is I feel like once she realizes that's not her mom, instead of just standing there, there should have been something preventing her from following Evil-Lyn.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like a force field or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So He-Man is rocking a pistol or two in this movie, which, you know, was not the case.
I couldn't remember. Yeah, that's another thing that I sort of attributed to the Star Wars-y.
Yeah, I mean the OG toy, he came with half the power sword,
right,
and then a shield. See, the original mythology was He-Man had one half of the power sword, Skeletor had the other half, and if you put the two swords together, you can open Castle Grayskull.
Right.
They left that way behind.
Mm-hmm.
But in this movie, it's like he uses the guns to, you know, attack people and the sword as a shield. Which feels like maybe not the most practical use of what you got.
I guess swords are tricky. It makes me think of the Ninja Turtles, right? Like you can't show your hero slicing and dicing people.
That's right.
You know, so they have to be used as, That
was the issue, is that, like I said, initially, Gary Goddard is told, hey, no, you know, you can't kill or hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then while they're making the movie, the sales chart just keeps dropping and dropping in real time for He-Man toys.
Yeah.
So then they come back, they're like, listen, if you want him to just like murder everybody, that's like totally fine with us. Like whatever you got to do.
Wait, why?
Like, well,
because it doesn't matter anymore. And
like
maybe
whatever.
That's what
just
kids
do what
actually want.
Do what you got to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I see.
If you want to have him like eating people's entrails, whatever it takes, it's fine. And he's like, well, we're done now. So thanks anyway, you jackasses.
Right. Yeah. I was sad that the sword didn't look like the sword I knew from the cartoon. It's so distinctive, right? Like this just looks like a sword you could get at like a shop in Las Vegas, you know, like.
That's, you know, they did a couple of years after the original toy line ended, they brought it back, or they attempted to, but it was just called He-Man. Do you remember this?
I do. I remember what they look like, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, the cartoon show was called The New Adventures of He-Man, and that was not by Filmation, it was by a French company. And He-Man's sword, I mean, it's supposed to be the same power sword. It looks totally different.
Yeah.
And that was like a sci-fi flavored show.
Yeah, right.
He-Man's wearing pants in that one, which is goddamn heresy.
Oh, look at that frame is flipped. You see that? The words
how funny.
On the shops were backwards.
Wow, I did not catch that.
You know, this hoverboard stuff looks a little janky, but like it's cool. It's a cool concept. I wish they could have figured out how to nail it a little better, but like I like it. I think it's a good action sequence.
I think there's something about knowing that it's still an actual thing on top of an actual thing. That sort of, at least for me, my brain sort of slots into just going with it. Where like janky CG, I'm not able to do that as easily.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. The tangibility of it goes a long way for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of repeating myself now, but just seeing like a camera boom up from like a Hallmark store to Skeletor, like riding this like big space vehicle is just like delights every part of my brain.
Yeah,
that's good.
I love this here where I mean, he's so mean to Evil-Lyn.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie. And so it's the least surprising thing in the movie when she's just like, all right, we're out of here. When she just like leaves him to be defeated.
You know, they talk about like a lot of guys have these moments like 10, 15 years later where they realize a woman had been flirting with them, but they didn't know it in the moment. Do you think Skeletor like 10 years later, like in the middle of the night is like, wait a minute. I think Evil-Lyn liked me. Oh. And goes on Facebook, sees if he can find her. Desperately tries to wish her a happy birthday to reconnect.
Her status says it's complicated, and he's like, hey, there's a chance.
Yeah, right. Or it's like back in the MySpace days, and he pokes her, just like hoping.
No, poking was a Facebook thing.
Oh, was that Facebook?
That was Facebook.
Okay.
You never got poked on Facebook?
I did. Well, I remember that happening, and even thinking it was weird in the moment. But like,
you don't know what you're supposed to do about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I always poke. Then you're just like, okay, and you poke back. And then they poke you, and you poke back.
Now these hoverboard things, I think they're cool looking.
Yeah, agreed.
But I question the practicality. Like, I don't know what kind of maneuverability you're able to really have on them. Right? Because it's like a manhole cover that you're standing on.
Yeah, it feels like you could fall off pretty easy.
Right? And there's no like footholds, I don't think. Yeah, no, it's just like there's nothing, I mean, it doesn't seem practical is what I'm saying.
Yeah, even the hoverboards in Back to the Future have like little
grips
for and then something you can slip your foot through to be fixed to it.
So this shot right here, I kind of love how lo-fi it is, right? Where the shot where right here.
Yeah. He's like probably in the back of a pickup truck. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, nope, he's not. He's on a hoverboard.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this is a cool sequence.
And now he's got that key. Look at that.
I would kind of like to watch it behind the scenes and see what that is. I mean, are those just two models, like little miniature sort of things that they just sort of are dancing around like
for the wider shots?
Yeah,
I think so.
Because they look a little stiff. I think it would go a long way if they could have made it look a little bit less like a thing on a rod that they're passing across the screen.
Right.
And if there's a little bit more like the character was reacting and a little bit more bounce to it or something. But
yeah,
I mean, no complaint. I'm just thinking. I think they did a good job with what they had. By the way, that reminds me, did you see that they're putting out a special 4K of this? And it's going to have like not only a bunch of features, but it's going to have a preview cut.
I may need to order that copy.
I would really like to watch that. I would like to see what was cut from this. And that's like becoming a thing now, right? All these preview cuts are getting unearthed. Did you hear about, we didn't talk about it, but there was a 2.5 hour Gremlins cut that was screened recently?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Which sounds probably about 45 minutes too long.
Probably.
Right.
I mean, I wonder if it actually feels like an overly long movie or just like a ton of stuff they shot and just kind of taped together. And
right.
Yeah, I don't know. The Batman Forever, right? Isn't that one also?
Where the like Schumacher cut. Yeah. That one I'm desperate to see.
Yeah. It's kind of cool.
Now, this is hilarious to me that Skeletor just sneaks up on them in this freaking goddamn the Titanic,
That's like that thing where like a helicopter always appears out of nowhere in a movie.
It's like, how do you not hear that?
Yeah, like they're standing at a cliff and then suddenly like it appears, but you would hear like for
a while.
Yeah.
There's no way it sneaks up.
You know what? Movies.
So we were talking about Skeletor earlier. I was reading about how Frank Langella initially was like really into the idea of dressing like the Skeletor from the toy / cartoon, so he'd be wearing like a revealing harness like He-Man has.
He'd be like bare chested with like something strapped over. Right.
And Gary Goddard was like, no, we can't have a sexy Skeletor. To which I say, why the hell not?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, why not?
Why not? But I will say, I think Skeletor's costume is pretty badass in this. But
I think it's pretty menacing and cool.
It really is. And I saw an interview with, I think it was with William Stout, talking about how Langella worked with them to figure out the exact way the cloak should look. And in such a way that he can sling it over his shoulder and do all this stuff. And it's very theatrical, very Dr. Doom.
Mm-hmm.
I think it holds up.
Yeah, totally.
And actually, I really like the He-Man costume in this. I think the armor is a very natural live action translation of the toy and the cartoon.
I agree. I mean, what we're seeing from the 2026 Masters of the Universe, which looks more like the cartoon, looks very cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I can see, especially I don't know, him wandering around Earth and everything without those things on his shoulders, he might just feel more exposed, like just like a guy running around in his underwear.
Yeah,
like it helps. It adds some sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what they have He-Man wearing here, it's like a leather thong.
Yeah.
So I don't know how comfortable Dolph Lundgren felt.
Yeah, there's a couple of times where it literally feels like he's wandering around in a Speedo. And you just got to wonder how that, I mean, if you have a body like that, I'd do it too. But like, you got to wonder, like being on a set, with all these people, there were some times he felt self-conscious.
Maybe that's why he has the cape, like just make him feel slightly more covered.
Yeah. And even just, the shoulder pads, right? It looks more, even that alone makes it feel more like a costume than a guy that just came out of the pool.
That's true. I mean, that itself is fascinating, that the movie came with Lundgren. Like he was part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so they did sort of have to work around him. But Mattel had been trying for a couple of years to get this movie made, and the big studios were hesitant. And then Canon is like, hey, if you pay for half, we'll pay for half. And Mattel's like, sounds great. Little realizing that this is not the company to make that kind of a bet with.
right.
Because they gave their half, and then when it came time for Canon to pony up their half, they're like, oh yeah, we don't have it, by the way. So there was nearly no ending for this movie.
I mean, they did like shut down at one point, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just had to be like, they had more elaborate things in mind, but then they just had, okay, this is all you got left. You got to finish this thing now.
Yeah.
Be stressful. Can you imagine?
I can't. That's why I'm glad I'm not a film director.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say, there is an inordinate amount of time in this movie where Skeletor wants this scantily dressed man to kneel and be his slave. And
well, there you go. That's why he's not paying attention to Evil-Lyn.
So, sometimes the subtext is very loud.
Well, do you think Evil-Lyn 10 years from now was in bed and woke up and went, oh,
now I get it.
Yeah. This looks cool, doesn't it? Them marching back into that portal. That looks good.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like there's enough work on the effect sequences where if you didn't know any better, you'd be like, hey, they spent some money on this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And by the way, I mean, $22 million in 1987, that's not chump change.
I mean, Star Wars, not that long ago, or 10 years earlier, was made for $17 million.
There you go. Yeah.
Actually, what's their excuse now? No, I'm just kidding.
That's true.
So here you go. Yeah, now the police are ribbing him.
Exactly, right? Like make that a runner.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly like he's like a big city cop. He is Chief Brody.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason he's here in the middle of nowhere. So Brody was afraid of water. Lubic's got his thing that he's afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting space viruses, like whatever Julie has.
By the way, yeah, I was like, I assumed there would be, some sort of gnarly sort of thing, but I was like, what is that? The designer just went nuts on her leg wound.
And yet, doesn't that feel very of its era? Like,
wait, how do you mean?
Like, it just feels like what we would see in movies. Like, I mean, that we're talking about Gremlins. Doesn't that feel like something you would have seen in Gremlins?
Definitely looks, gremlin-y.
Yeah.
There were a lot more, I guess, practical makeup effects people and getting to show off and do all sorts of things. And
yeah.
And then you get another, like, it is kind of funny seeing, I have to imagine a lot of these popular movies in this moment were seeping into their head. You get like E.T. with the dress and the wig on and Grill Door earlier. And then we get this device that looks like E.T.'s communication device, set up right here. And of course the Star Wars of it. But as a kid, that would have been really fun for me because I would be like, oh, it's tapping into all the stuff I love.
Right. Well, that's the thing, right? Like for a lot of these, it was like, well, this is our shot and let's put on a show.
Yeah.
they're pulling from all of their influences and stuff. Like I said, I mean for this film, like obviously E.T. was recent enough. I'm sure that factored in. How could it not have?
Yeah.
But you get like this Jack Kirby influence. You had Mobius doing the some of the costume designs, and and it's like I appreciate the fact that everyone leaned in, and they made a movie that is far from perfect, just to be clear. But I think when we watch it nearly 40 years later, that earnestness, at least to me, stands out, and I can view it through that lens and be like, well, I appreciate that they're just trying to put on a show.
Definitely. Which I have something to say about that, but I want to point this out before it ends. If we see another wide shot, the street behind them, there's just this fog consistently rolling down the street and a light that's placed there to illuminate the fog that's giving it like sort of a blue illumination kind of thing. And I'm just like, someone thought to put a machine down there. Someone thought, let's put the light there. Like, they really composed an image.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Looking at it, I'm like, it really makes what could just be sort of a static shot of these people around a fountain feel like it's breathing. So I don't know. I just wanted to.
Such a good observation. Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I don't feel like enough of that detail gets considered or thought of these days. And
actually, while we're talking about this specific sequence here, there's a moment right here where Gwildor is telling Kevin, "Oh, help me come up with the key." And Kevin's like, "Look, I'm just a guy in a high school band. There's a million of me." Mm-hmm. And Gwildor says something very nice. He says, "Only one of you, Kevin. Only one of anybody." What a nice sentiment, especially for a little kid watching this.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. I agree. I love it. And it's, see that smoke and fog in the background.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
It just adds character to the scene.
It makes the location feel alive. Yeah.
Okay. So real quick, we gotta.
Yes,
point this out.
Yeah. I know.
So this little kid right here, who he gets the staff from, so he's credited as Pig Boy, and that little kid, I forget the actor's name, but he won a contest that Mattel had, that some kind of sweepstakes where you can get a role in the He-Man movie.
Mm-hmm. So
he got that role, and then Mattel shows up and they're like, "Hey, you got to put this kid into the movie," and he's like, "Well, God damn it!" So they just gave him that part. He's credited. That kid, who is now an adult, obviously, has talked about how his skin broke out.
Oh,
because of the chemical reaction to that Pig Boy mask that they put on him. So I don't know if it was a great experience for him, but he made it in.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I think I would be minorly bummed that you don't see my face.
That's right. Yeah.
But it actually feels like a really natural addition.
Yeah. I think they did a good job of working around fine here, like without it being that obvious.
Yeah. Skeletor snatching the staff out of his hands.
Now I love this too. She says, "Men who crave power look back over the mistakes of their lives, pile them together, and call it destiny." Mm-hmm. Isn't that talk about a universally applicable sentiment?
It's funny that, and then Langella's lines we were talking about, how he went in and came up with some really almost Shakespearean sounding sorts of things for Skeletor to say. That's some of those things where you go back and watch movies made for kids and you're like, oh wow, they like really thought of some profound things to say in here that I just kind of missed when I was a kid. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'll come back.
Well, no, I was going to say, I mean, there is that line that you already mentioned where Skeletor is, tell me about the loneliness of good. Is it equal to the loneliness of evil?
That's the good stuff.
I love it. That's an amazing line. And I love that there's someone who's self-aware enough to know that they're evil.
I was going to bring this up. I'm like, this guy he's not like Magneto or something,
Yeah, like he knows.
He's like, man, give me a cat. I will kick that sumbitch.
Yeah, I think there's something kind of fun about that. And
we see it here where Sorceress is like, there's still a chance to pull back from this madness. He's like, no, I have to be scorned and hated. I'm like, my man.
Yeah. Oh, and it made me think of that line that's always made me laugh, where it's sort of riffing on that in The Simpsons at Camp Krusty, and there's that leader, and he's sit around the table, and they raise a glass.
Gentlemen,
He's,
to evil.
Gentlemen, to evil. Like, it's just, that guy knows, like, we are peddling evil. I just think that's hilarious.
See, look at Skeletor, man. He just wants to see He-Man stripped down and whipped.
Right.
Oh yeah, so I was talking about so for the longest time there were no action figures of He-Man and Skeletor from this movie because of rights issues.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like 2017, 2018 that they finally came out with characters wearing these costumes.
Wow.
You know, I think they had to work through, and they didn't even call it like Masters of the Universe, the motion picture figures. They called it the William Stout Collection.
Oh, interesting.
Like, oh no, we're actually, this is from his concept drawings, like to, I guess,
to get around it.
I guess so. Yeah.
Huh.
It was weird. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because there were certain, I don't know what kind of monkey ass deal Mattel made, where they did not have the rights to certain things. Like, how do you not anticipate that you're going to want to make toys of all this stuff
in a post Star Wars world? How do
right?
you not think about this?
You know, so they didn't have the rights to like certain characters that were in the movie only, or that the way they appeared in the movie only.
Mm-hmm.
Really weird.
Yeah. This is sweet.
It is, until you realize that these are like high school seniors. So let's be honest. How long is this really going to last?
Right. Still,
like,
one of them leaves for college. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I love you. Well, do you though?
It's still sweet. I loved my high school girlfriend in a way that only, 17-year-olds can. And then,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
See, Skeletor's like really into this.
Oh, by the way, I was going to mention, seeing that fountain location again was reminding me of what we were talking about. So where this movie is just proudly absorbing all its influences, E.T., Star Wars, whatever. Mm-hmm. Famously, Star Wars is a collection of influences for George Lucas too. So it's, that's what stuff is. It's things that are created based on the inspirations in the artist's head,
That's right.
So.
Yeah, we would not have gotten Star Wars if not for Flash Gordon.
Yeah, exactly.
And we would not have gotten Flash Gordon if not for Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
So I think this right here, seeing his eyes and how important that is. Like, I was thinking about in terms of Skeletor, either in the action figures or the cartoon show, you never see his eyes.
Right.
And that's, so much of the performance is in the eyes.
Totally. Yeah, it was a smart, that mask is really smartly designed for sure.
Absolutely.
So I guess this is him addressing the galaxy, which is like 5 people at Vasquez Rocks again.
That's it. We don't see the king. We don't see the queen. We don't see anybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. That would be kind of nice to see, like the other leaders.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Because according to this movie, it's basically the sorceress is the head of Grayskull, and that's it.
Yeah.
He said the thing. He said Master of the Universe.
This is kind of a cool haunting effect, having the sorceress aging.
Yeah, she's like Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis and Beetlejuice.
Yeah, totally, exactly that. Yeah. I was reading, I don't know if you can verify this stuff because, I try to always back this stuff up, but sometimes I couldn't. But there were just a lot of ideas that they wanted to do. Like they wanted to show Snake Mountain. There was like a scene, I guess, with Teela.
They mention it a few times, but they don't show it.
Yeah. And Teela, there's a scene with Teela freeing prisoners that was scripted at the beginning, sort of setting up her as being a woman of action. And He-Man and his cohorts were going to be booked at a police station, but just, I guess, with budgeting limitations, they couldn't shoot all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I think they did a good job of still making this feel complete without all of that stuff.
I agree.
Some movies can't pull that off, but I feel like this one does well enough.
I think some of that stuff would have been nice. Definitely Teela freeing the prisoners. That would have been good.
Mm-hmm.
There was also in an earlier draft of the script where you had I guess just like a button at the end that they find wreckage of like a NASA spacecraft.
Yes,
in the bowels of Grayskull, to show that like humans in the future were the first settlers of Eternia.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do like it. And,
I mean, it's not needed. It's a cool idea.
It's like needlessly confusing, right? Like,
yeah, that's true.
You know, even though in the cartoon and in the comic books and stuff, you know, He-Man's mother is from Earth. So she's a human astronaut who crashed on Eternia.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, you know, so she stays there. And so He-Man is half human. So in the new film, you know, that's like a big part of the story, that he's on Earth for reasons beyond just, I hit a button on the cosmic key and here you are, you know?
Mm-hmm. Is that why he's called He-Man? Like when she gave birth, and I guess it was with, you know, an alien, she, you know, he's like, she was like, is he man?
You know, they've never like satisfactorily explained that, right? Because obviously the term He-Man predates this toy line, because it's like, if you're a big muscular guy, you're a He-Man, right? And that's like a silly name for a character.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I know that they've tried to do stuff like saying that the sword, it's the sword of he, and like come up with some cockamamie.
Oh, that's funny.
You know, and I understand the drive to do that, but I'm also like, you know, I don't think there's any fixing this. I think it just is what it is.
And somehow we can say it without, you know, giggling. Like, so you did it.
Right. Well, and I think it helps that the phrase He-Man has passed out of the parlance for what it used to refer to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So this costume Skeletor is wearing currently, now that he is a god, it tells me that my man just wants to go to Vegas, really. So it's both impressive and extremely cheap looking at the same time.
I remember even as a kid thinking he looked scary in it. Something about it. Maybe it's because of the bottom half of his face being that skull.
Yeah.
And this really ornate, I don't even know how to explain it. It reminds me a little bit of the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, sure.
You know, that sort of overly ornate, like, get up.
See, I'm just like, you have the power of a god. You can do anything, and you landed at like horror Liberace.
Horror Liberace, yeah. You know, when you're saying it, I gotta be honest. Like, it's always been kind of scary to me, and I don't exactly know how to put it into words. There's something really nightmarish about it to me. Something about the gold, how beautiful it looks, and horrifying with that face underneath the mask.
Right.
But you saying that, now I completely see what you're saying. But I still dig it. There's something weird, and like he has leveled up in sort of a scary way. I do feel like they sell that.
Because of this movie, if I get the power of a god, I'll at least consider making myself look like that.
Yeah. He doesn't turn himself into like Super Shredder or anything, or make himself even bigger, or, you know, as big as the room or anything. Yeah, no, I just
see he gets all the powers. He looks like that, and the first thing he does, he points his fingers at He-Man, goes, "Kneel!" Like, bro, come on.
I know. Just go rule the universe. I do love that there's bat wings on it. I didn't notice that till this time.
Yep. I mean, again, the production design for this Grayskull sequence is very impressive. William Stout talked about how he built in like multiple levels so that you could have a sword fight where the characters are jumping to different tiers and stuff.
Super smart.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they didn't get to do any of that.
Yeah, but even just having those different levels makes the place seem dynamic.
Okay, this right here, look at this. So Evil-Lyn's like, "Car, let's go." And he's like, "What about Skeletor?" And he's like, "Nope." And then I love this because this is the very, very beginning of He-Man He-Man didn't even have his sword back yet.
Yeah.
Right. And Evil-Lyn's like, all right, well, we've been through this shit before. This dumbass about to get defeated again.
Yeah.
Let's dip. Like, he does not even have a sword back. Evil-Lyn is already gone.
Right.
She's like, whatever. We know how this is going to end.
That's hilarious.
Because she's lived through the Filmation series.
Right.
She's seen him get his ass handed to him every week.
That's hilarious.
Every weekday afternoon.
Yeah. On Fox.
It was on Fox in our neighborhood.
Yeah. That was a cool shot, by the way. That I have the power. Looked good.
Agree. I think it's great. I think the way they put the sword, the light in. Now this here, I will say, as a kid, I just took it at face value.
Yes,
that the power was so much that they've drained the power from the room, and this is how they're fighting.
And what we're actually seeing is the moment this movie ran out of money.
Yeah, and they were like shooting guerrilla style, just get whatever shots they could. So this is Anthony DeLongis in the Skeletor suit.
Yeah.
AKA Blade. And I think given the constraints they were operating in, it is not a bad sword fight.
No, well, the fight is great. It's just funny where they turned all the lights off in the castle so they don't have to have any of the other actors. And there's basically just 2 spotlights.
Yeah.
So we can see them fighting.
It's like, what do you do?
They make it stylish and, it works. It works.
And then this part, basically from here to when he tosses Skeletor over, this was like 3 months later.
Oh,
just so they could get the ending of the fight.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So this is like at the effects house, just whatever they had available,
like a stage, like have a floor and a light.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I read that originally he was that's a good almost lose the sword over the edge and him gripping it.
I agree.
That's good. But he was supposed to fly out the window,
This
right?
shot right here, probably the most poorly aged shot in the whole movie.
Sure. But I mean, it was the 80s. You got Die Hard with that. You got RoboCop with that. You got this with that.
But this is the most egregiously, he's not really falling anywhere.
No, I mean, Die Hard looks incredible. But it is funny. You just have this overhead, fixed camera watching the bad guy just fall down.
I mean, we saw Palpatine fall to his death just 4 years earlier.
Right. I mean, this is very much that.
Yes.
Down
exactly.
like a shaft or something.
Yeah, that's literally what my son, my 12-year-old said just now. I was watching the end of it. He's like, oh, it's like Palpatine.
Yeah.
I was like, and somehow they both return. So.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so let's talk about Lubic's weird ass ending here.
How much time has passed? Because the kids are still there.
Well, he's like, hey, what do I have to go back to over here? I got a castle, and I want the sorceress to be just like look over, and be like, no, you don't.
Yeah,
right now, who is this woman?
I know.
Who is she? Like,
sitting, yeah,
right. Like, have her be somebody whose life he saves on Eternia or something.
I mean, if they had more money, maybe there would have been a scene.
It makes no sense, though,
No, but we like rolled with this stuff back then.
We absolutely roll with it. But again, if it's one of those things where you show like all his life he's wanted to prove that aliens are real.
Mm-hmm. And now he's going to be married to one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Get the good journey. Reminds me a little bit of Face Off. You know how they like sort of use their hands.
Oh, that face thing?
That's like a face wipe. Basically the way they...
See, all we need is Christina Pickles to go to Courtney Cox and be like, in another life, you could have been my daughter.
Yeah, right.
And we'd be like, wow, that's weirdly prescient.
Yeah. The creators of Friends who are like watching this stoned one night, like...
I mean, I wonder, did they, I mean, isn't it within the realm of possibility that you had a Masters of the Universe fan in that creative food chain? And when it came time to casting Monica's mom, they're like, well, what about her? Right? Like,
yeah.
You're telling me it didn't come up?
I'm sure someone was aware.
Did these two actors just agree never to mention it again?
Yeah, that's funny. By the way, I love like how undefined this key is.
Yes.
It's like when we need their, for him to struggle with it, he's like, I can't figure out the sequence. But then later he's just like, oh yeah, it's just this, like.
Yeah, and when do you want to go? Yeah.
Yeah, Exactly.
I can send you anywhere, anytime. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So let's talk about, you and I, just before we got on, we were happening to talk about time paradoxes in movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's talk about the absolute shit show that's unleashed by this ending here. Okay. First of all, I love that Julie's wearing kind of like a Laura Ingalls Wilder number.
Dude, I thought about that because I do remember people wearing these things. I do. Like my mom or like neighbors or,
Right.
like, and I was like, that is such an odd. Laura Ingalls Wilder is hilarious. Yeah.
Okay. So she's like, right before she goes through the porch, she's like, wait, Gildor. And the idea is like, send me back to before my parents die. And
Yeah.
Gildor, because he's just that goddamn good.
Yeah.
He knew it. So now she's like, hey, I'm going to take your keys so you don't die.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see a logic problem here, which is he probably has another set of keys.
Yeah.
Right. That's part A. But part B, if you prevent their deaths, have you not undone everything that happened in the movie?
If it's like a loop or if she's creating some sort of strand in time, yeah, that is screwing up the future.
Right?
I guess it would be the future now from where she is in this moment.
Like this is whatever it is, like a month or so ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now nothing that happened before happens. So then somebody else finds the key.
Right. Wait, Zachy, sequel. Wait, by the way, so this right here on the street, I was thinking it'd be so funny because she's basically like, got your keys. Okay. And then she runs out to her boyfriend like, I did it. I saved my parents' life. I did everything within the realm of possibility to stop them from getting out. And as they're in the street, I think it'd be funny out of focus in the background if you see her parents in a car backing out of a driveway. Because to your point, like they have like a backup set of keys and she thinks she did enough.
That's hilarious. Well, so as you mentioned, there was going to be a sequel. They were going to recast Dolph Lundgren.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably, they would have recast Frank Langella because they had budgeted $4 million for the sequel.
Wow.
So I once again, He-Man would have come to Earth, and I think he would have just like been on Earth, just working at a used car lot or something. I don't know what you do with $4 million.
Yeah. Wow.
There's Pig Boy Richard Sponder.
Hey,
Got
that's
himself
great.
A credit there. So the sequel did not happen because they were going to shoot it back to back with Spider-Man, as you mentioned. It was going to be Albert Pyun, who went on to do Captain America for canon. But the costumes and sets that they had designed were then used for a movie called Cyborg,
mm-hmm.
starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, and that movie came out and it did okay because Canon lost the rights to both He-Man and Spider-Man at the same time, so neither of those got made. Cyborg did okay, not well enough to save Canon, and there it went. No more Canon.
Wow. And this movie, as we said, had a budget of $22 million and it only grossed $17 million worldwide.
Yeah, so that's impressively bad. Which, I mean, doesn't it feel like it should have done at least 22 million?
I was going to say, I'm a little surprised. I mean, even if there was He-Man fatigue, I don't know. It really feels like it was our time then, like kids movies, PG movies aimed at kids our age were like the, movie du jour back then. So like I'm a little surprised it didn't do better.
I think that the mistake was making it through Canon, right? Because they might have been able to get that 22 million budget, but they didn't have any money to promote it. And they didn't have any, like, because after a couple of weeks, the theaters just dropped this, right? And normally, if you're a studio, you're able to strong arm the chains into being like, look, if you want to play this thing a month from now, you're going to keep this in theaters,
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have anything.
Right.
So I think all of that stuff factored in.
Yeah.
And it just led to this movie doing whatever it did. Not much, but it became a beloved cult artifact, certainly. Those who grew up with it have fondness that they've nursed for 40 years almost.
Yeah, I mean, I love it for the nostalgia of it. Like I didn't see it when I was 7, but I did see it when I was pretty young, like I said, on TV. So I kind of remember it, but there's that bit of it, but also just, I don't know, growing up in this time and watching a lot of movies like this, just seeing a movie that looks like this is really endearing to me and fun.
I agree. I think the ways in which they adapted the original mythology for the big screen, I appreciated. I appreciated some of the, they didn't give He-Man his page boy Prince Valiant haircut, which I think I'll take the mullet that he has in this one.
Yeah.
That is, in the new one, you see that it's like, you can tell that's the conversation. Like, how do we keep the long hair and not have it look sort of,
dorky.
Dorky.
Yeah.
And I think they found different ways of accomplishing that. But I think if nothing else, the fact that it took 40 years for us to get another live action He-Man tells you that, well, this movie had the field to itself for a very long time. So multiple generations have their own relationships with it.
Yeah. By the way, I'm mystified that they got Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix in this movie.
Crazy, right?
That must have been so expensive.
That's the other half of the budget.
Yeah.
It's the Castle Grayskull set and the Jimi Hendrix royalties.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Here we go.
Is this the first post-credit scene of our lifetimes? I didn't even know about this post-credit scene until much later.
I feel like I do remember seeing it on TV.
Yeah,
and thinking
I saw
whoa.
It then. Yeah, I definitely didn't stick around for it in the theater.
Well, yeah. I mean, who knew to do that back then, right?
But here we go, 1987's Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Fun to revisit, a lot of nostalgia there, and I'm certainly looking forward to contrasting this one that we just watched with the one that we're going to watch in the next couple days.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, let us know your thoughts about this film. If you have any, you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. As always, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. If you're listening to this podcast on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe and leave a comment because we do read those on the show. We also have a Patreon page, Brian.
Yes, if you head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and hit subscribe for only $5 a month, you'll find every commentary we've ever done and every episode moving forward absolutely ad-free. We also have bonus conversations that we drop over there from time to time about twice a month that are a lot of fun. Our free feed will always be available, but this is our way of providing what we believe is the most satisfying way to enjoy the show. So no random ads or interruptions butting into the conversation. Plus, your subscription goes a long way in helping to support us and helping to sustain producing this show. So if you're interested in Able, please head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and subscribe. We'd be very grateful.
There we go. And if you're looking for me online, you can find me on social media at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. You can also read my reviews, including for the new Masters of the Universe film at the San Francisco Chronicle, and also at IGN and The Wrap. What about you, Brian?
You can find episodes I've written of Puppy Dog Pals and Young Jedi Adventures streaming on Disney+.
There we go. And with that, this has been our movie film commentary track for Masters of the Universe. And I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm going to say good journey.
Good journey, Zachy.